Run! It's a trap! 4 words, whispered by a blind girl who couldn't see the guns aimed at 12 bikers. 4 words that should have gotten her killed. Emma Collins had nothing. No home, no family, no eyes that worked. She sat on a cold sidewalk, invisible to the world, while 3 men planned murder 15 feet away. They thought she was furniture. They were wrong. In 2 hours, 12 Harley-Davidsons would roll into a death trap, and a girl who couldn't see anything was about to see everything. This is her story. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe and follow until the end. Comment your city below so I can see how far this story travels. Emma Collins woke at 5:47 in the morning. No alarm. Her body had become the clock. 6 years on the streets taught you things that comfort never could. Your spine learned concrete. Your skin learned cold. Your ears became your eyes. She lay still for a moment, listening. A dog barking 3 blocks east. Traffic already building on the main road. The hum of the laundromat's ventilation system above her head. All normal. All safe. She sat up slowly, her back protesting. 21 years old, and her joints ached like she was 50. The alcove behind the laundromat was narrow, barely 4 feet wide, but it blocked the wind. She had found this spot 2 years ago and rotated between here and 2 other locations. Never the same place twice in a row. That was rule number 1. Be unpredictable. Predators hunted patterns. Emma folded her blanket. More holes than fabric now, but it was hers. She packed it into her backpack, along with everything she owned. 2 sweaters, a cracked water bottle, a hairbrush missing half its bristles, a small radio that hadn't worked in years, but she kept anyway. Her father had given her that radio. Before the accident. Before everything ended. She shouldered her pack and began walking. 47 steps to the first intersection. Listen for traffic. Cars from the left meant Campbell Avenue. Wait for the gap. Cross. 62 steps. Turn right at the dumpster. She knew it by the smell, sharp and sour, always the same spot. 38 more steps. Rosa's Cafe. Her corner. Emma had claimed this spot 4 years ago. Not claimed, really. You couldn't claim anything on the streets, but it was hers in the way that mattered. She was here every day, and other homeless people respected that. She set up her cardboard sign, placed her plastic cup on the ground, and sat with her back against the brick wall. The sun wasn't up yet. Wouldn't be for another hour. But she was always here by 6 because the early morning crowd was different. They had jobs, they moved fast, didn't make eye contact, but sometimes they dropped change without stopping. Quarters sounded different than dimes. Heavier. A quarter hit plastic with a solid thunk. A dime made a lighter clink. Pennies barely made sound at all. Emma pulled her second sweater tighter. Both had holes. The cold found those holes and crawled inside like fingers. Footsteps approached. Dress shoes. Office worker. The man walked past without slowing. More footsteps. Sneakers this time. Student, probably. Also walked past. Emma's stomach cramped. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. The last meal she'd had was a half-finished burger someone left on a bench. Before that, she couldn't remember. The cafe door opened. That familiar squeak on the bottom hinge, the bell chiming in E-flat. Rosa was opening up. The smell of coffee drifted out, and Emma's mouth watered. She had never been inside Rosa's cafe. Rosa tolerated her presence outside, but made it clear she wasn't a customer. At 6:15, a woman dropped 2 quarters in Emma's cup. "Thank you," Emma said automatically. The footsteps didn't pause. At 6:47, Emma heard motorcycles. Not close yet, maybe 2 blocks away, but she recognized the sound immediately. 12 Harley-Davidsons moving in formation, their engines synchronized like a mechanical heartbeat. The Iron Brotherhood. They came through every Tuesday at the same time. Emma had been listening to them for weeks now, memorizing the distinct pitch of each engine, the rhythm of their arrival. The sound grew louder. Then it stopped. Right in front of Rosa's cafe. 12 bikes, 12 riders. She heard them dismount. Boots on pavement, leather creaking, keys jingling, the smell of exhaust and motor oil mixed with Rosa's coffee. People on the sidewalk moved away. Emma could hear it, the nervous shuffle, the quickened footsteps. Fear had a sound. It lived in held breath and sudden silence. The bikers walked toward the cafe entrance. One set of footsteps stopped right in front of her. Emma made herself smaller against the wall, clutching her cup. "You got a name." The voice was deep, gravelly, but something in it wasn't threatening. Emma's throat tightened. When people stopped to talk, it usually meant trouble. "Emma," she whispered. "You eat today, Emma?" The question caught her off guard. "Yes, sir. Don't lie to me." His tone was firm but gentle. "When's the last time you had a real meal?" Emma's hands trembled. She couldn't remember. Days, a week, maybe longer. "I'm okay." She heard him crouch down, leather creaking. He was at eye level now, though she couldn't see him. "No, you're not." Something touched her cup. Not coins this time. Paper. She heard it rustle, felt the weight increase. Rosa the man called out. "Grab her a breakfast to go. Full meal, everything on it. Ghost." A woman's voice answered from near the cafe entrance. Ghost. The name should have frightened her, but his voice didn't match it. There was something protective in how he spoke. "What's your story, Emma? How long you been out here?" 6 years, sir." A pause. 6 years. "How old are you?" 21. Another pause. Longer this time. "You've been on these streets since you were 15? "Yes, sir." She heard him stand, heard him say something under his breath. A curse, but not directed at her. 2 minutes later, the woman returned. "Here you go, sweetheart." Hands guided Emma's fingers to a foam container. Warm and heavy. Eggs, bacon toast, hash browns. Orange juice, too. "Careful, it's hot." Emma's voice cracked. "I can't. I don't have money for—" "It's paid for," the man called Ghost said. "You're here every day?" Emma nodded. "This is my corner." "Good to know." His footsteps started to move away, then stopped. "Emma, you ever need anything, you tell me?" "Understand?" She didn't understand. Didn't understand why an Iron Brotherhood member would care about a blind homeless girl. Didn't understand the warmth in his voice. Didn't understand why her chest felt tight and her eyes were burning. "Yes, sir. Thank you." The motorcycle started up again. That synchronized thunder. They rode away, the sound fading until it was just memory. Emma sat there, holding the warm container. Tears streaming down her face. She opened it with shaking hands. The smell hit her first. Real food. Hot and fresh. She picked up the plastic fork, found the eggs, took a bite. It was the best thing she'd tasted in 6 years. 5 weeks passed. Every Tuesday, the Iron Brotherhood came through. Every Tuesday, Ghost stopped. Sometimes he bought her breakfast, sometimes just coffee. But he always stopped. Always asked how she was doing. Always treated her like she mattered. Emma learned things about him through his voice, the way it softened when he spoke to her, the way it hardened when he talked to his crew about business. The weight he carried something painful, something lost. She memorized his engine. A modified road glide, slightly deeper pitch than the others. She could pick it out from 2 blocks away. Rosa started leaving her leftover pastries at closing time. Not kindness exactly. More like acknowledging that Emma existed. Jimmy, one of the younger bikers, brought her a blanket one Tuesday. Real wool, no holes. Your Ghost's project, Jimmy said. But I think you're good people. Emma didn't know what to say. She wasn't anyone's project. She was just trying to survive. But for the first time in years, surviving felt a little easier. If someone showed you unexpected kindness, tell me about it in the comments. Those moments matter more than we realize. The morning everything changed started like any other. Emma woke at 5:47, folded her blanket, walked her route. 47 steps, 62 steps. Turn at the dumpster, 38 more. She arrived at Rosa's cafe at 6:03, set up her sign, placed her cup on the ground. The air was cold. March in Tucson. The kind of cold that surprised people who thought Arizona was always hot. Desert nights could kill you just as dead as Minnesota winters. At 7:30, Emma heard a car pull up. Too close. Not normal. 3 men got out. Their footsteps were heavy. Confident. The kind of walk that said they owned wherever they stood. They sat on the curb 15 feet from Emma, close enough that she could hear them breathing, close enough that their cigarette smoke drifted toward her. They were talking quietly, but quietly wasn't quiet enough. Not for someone whose entire world existed in sound. Emma caught fragments. 11 o'clock. The light. Bikers. Her stomach tightened. She made herself smaller against the wall. Invisible. That had kept her alive for 6 years. Don't draw attention. Don't get involved. Survive. At 8:15, one of the men laughed. 12 of them. That's a lot of bikes to take down. Another voice. Rougher. We'll have 16 guys, 3 positions. They won't see it coming. The third man spoke. His voice was cold, controlled. The voice of someone who gave orders. Ghost goes down first. He's the leader. Without him, the rest scatter. Emma stopped breathing. Ghost. The man who had shown her kindness. The man who had bought her breakfast when no one else would look at her. The man who had treated her like a human being. They were planning to kill him. We hit them at the red light, right in front of this cafe, 11 o'clock sharp. The cold voice continued. Make it loud. Make it public. Send a message. What message, boss? That the Iron Brotherhood doesn't run Tucson anymore. The Serpent Kings do. Emma's heart was pounding so hard she thought they might hear it. She knew she should stay quiet. Stay invisible. These men could kill her without thinking twice. She had no protection, no one to save her. But Ghost's voice echoed in her mind. You ever need anything, you tell me. He had seen her. When the whole world looked through her like she was glass, he had stopped. He had cared. And now he was walking into a death trap. At 8:45, the men got coffee from Rosa's and came back. They sat on the hood of their car, now speaking more freely. Closer to Emma, like she wasn't even there. "Ray wants this clean," the cold voice said. "In and out. Ghost, and as many others as we can get." "What about witnesses?" "This is downtown. There'll be plenty, that's the point. We want people to see." And the girl Emma froze. "What girl, the blind one? She's here every day. She can't see anything. She's nobody." The men laughed. Emma's hands were shaking. She pressed them flat against her thighs, trying to stop the trembling. She wasn't nobody. She was the only person who knew what was about to happen. And she had less than 3 hours to decide what to do about it. At 9:15, the men left to prepare. Emma sat alone, her mind racing. She could leave, just walk away, find another corner, another part of the city, let whatever happened happen. But she kept hearing Ghost's voice. "You're here every day." He noticed her. He remembered her. He treated her like she mattered. No one had done that since her parents died. The car crash happened when Emma was 15. Her parents had been driving home from a concert. Emma wasn't with them. She'd stayed home with a cold, watching a movie she couldn't see but could listen to. The phone rang at 11:47 p.m. A drunk driver crossed the center line. Her father died on impact. Her mother lived for 6 hours in the ICU before her body gave up. Emma had been born blind, but her parents never treated her like she was broken. They taught her to navigate the world by sound and touch. They believed she could do anything. Then they were gone, and no one believed in her anymore. Foster homes lasted weeks, sometimes days. Too much work, too difficult, too blind. At 16, she ran. The streets were terrifying, but at least they were honest. No one pretended to care. No one made promises they wouldn't keep. She taught herself to survive. Memorized routes by counting steps, identified people by their footsteps, learned which dumpsters had edible food, which alleys were safe, which corners brought enough change to stay alive. Her greatest fear wasn't death. It was losing her hearing. Because if she couldn't hear, she had nothing. Have you ever felt invisible? Like the world just looks right through you? Hit the like button if you understand that feeling. You're not alone. At 9:45, Emma made her decision. She couldn't let Ghost die. Couldn't let 12 men who had shown her kindness ride into an ambush. Couldn't spend the rest of her life knowing she could have done something and didn't. But how? She had no phone, no way to contact anyone. She didn't even know the Iron Brotherhood's real names, just Ghost and Jimmy and a few nicknames. She could tell someone. Ask a stranger to call the police. But who would believe a blind, homeless girl she could go inside Rosa's cafe? Tell Rosa what she heard. But Rosa barely tolerated her outside. She'd probably think Emma was crazy, or lying, or trying to cause trouble. She could wait. Wait until the motorcycles arrived and try to warn them directly. But what if the Serpent Kings saw her? What if they grabbed her before she could say anything? Emma's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She thought about her parents, about what they would want her to do. Her mother used to say, "The only thing necessary for evil to win is for good people to do nothing." Emma wasn't sure if she was good, but she knew she wasn't nothing. Not anymore. At 10:20, Rosa opened the cafe. The door squeaked. The bell chimed. The smell of fresh coffee drifted out. Emma thought about going inside, asking for help, but her legs wouldn't move. At 10:15, regular pedestrians walked by, a mother with 2 children. The kids were laughing, talking about something innocent. Birthday parties, maybe. Friends. Things Emma had forgotten existed in the world. The mother's voice was gentle, patient, loving. Emma's chest ached. Her mother had sounded like that once. At 10:30, Emma heard a car return. Doors opening. Multiple vehicles now. The Serpent Kings were getting into position. Her heart was in her throat. This is really happening. She could hear them moving. Footsteps spreading out, taking positions around the intersection, setting the trap. 30 minutes until the Iron Brotherhood arrived. 30 minutes until Ghost rode into crossfire. Emma stood up. Her legs were shaking so badly she had to lean against the wall for support. She didn't have a plan, didn't know what she was going to do, but she couldn't sit here and let them die. What would you do? Stay silent and safe, or risk everything for strangers who showed you kindness? Tell me in the comments. At 10:45, Emma positioned herself at the edge of the curb, closer to the street, closer to where the motorcycles would stop at the red light. Her hands were trembling. Her breath came in short gasps. Every sound made her jump. A car horn. A door slamming. Footsteps behind her. She could hear the Serpent Kings in position. Low voices. The click of weapons being checked. 16 men, 3 positions, crossfire, Ghost and 11 others riding straight into it. At 10:55, Emma heard it. The rumble. Distant at first, like thunder rolling across the desert, then growing, deeper, closer. 12 Harley Davidsons. Her heart hammered against her ribs. They were coming. At 10:58, she heard car doors opening nearby. The Serpent Kings moving into final position. This is it. No turning back. Emma's legs wanted to give out. Every instinct screamed at her to sit back down, to be invisible, to survive. But Ghost's voice was in her head. You ever need anything, you tell me. At 10:59, the motorcycles were half a block away. The sound filled the street. Power and chrome and synchronized thunder. Emma stepped toward the curb. At 11 Hosurum, the bikes slowed. Air brakes hissed from a truck at the light. The motorcycles pulled up engines idling in that familiar rhythm. Ghost's bike was in front. She knew by the sound. That road glide she had memorized. Slightly deeper than the others, 3 feet from her. Emma took one step forward, then another. Her hand reached out, fingers searching the air until they touched leather. A vest, warm from body heat, patches she couldn't see, but knew were there. Ghost looked down. She felt his movement, the shift in air pressure. Emma's milky eyes stared at nothing but tears streamed down her face. She leaned in close, so close she could smell motor oil and coffee on his breath. 4 words, barely a whisper. Run. It's a trap. Ghost froze. For one heartbeat, everything stopped. The world balanced on the edge of a knife. He looked at her face, at her blind eyes filled with terror, at the tears cutting tracks through the dirt on her cheeks. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't a mistake. This girl was terrified, and she was trying to save him. Ghost looked around, saw nothing yet. But his instincts honed by years on the streets kicked in. Something in her voice, something in her fear. It was real. The light was still red. 30 seconds left. Ghost made a split-second decision. He revved his engine. A signal. Then he shouted, "Go, now!" The light turned green at that exact moment. Ghost gunned it. The Harley roared. Tires gripped pavement. The other 11 bikes followed instantly. No questions. No hesitation. When Ghost said, "Go," you went. They blasted through the intersection, engines screaming. The Serpent Kings rushed out from their positions. Too late. They had been waiting for the bikes to stop, to be trapped, boxed in, surrounded. But the Iron Brotherhood was already gone. A block away, then 2, then 3. Emma heard everything. The roar of engines, the screech of tires, angry shouts behind her. What the hell? Where are they going? Someone tipped them. She was frozen on the corner, exposed, vulnerable. She had done it. She had saved them. But now the Serpent Kings knew. Footsteps, heavy, angry, coming fast. She couldn't run, couldn't see where to go, couldn't navigate unfamiliar territory fast enough. A hand grabbed her arm. Rough, painful. She screamed. What did you say to them? The cold voice, the one who had given orders, right in her face. Nothing. I didn't. Don't lie to me. His grip tightened. Crushing. I saw you touch his vest. I saw you lean in. What did you tell him? Emma was crying, terrified. Please, I'm sorry, please. You just cost me everything, little girl. His voice was ice. I'm sorry. You're going to wish you'd stayed quiet. He threw her to the ground. Hard. Emma hit the concrete. Pain shot through her shoulder, her hip. Her cup spilled. Coins scattered, rolling across the pavement. She scrambled, trying to find them. Those coins were everything. Her only money, her survival. A boot kicked the cup away. If I see you here again, you won't be able to beg. Understand? Emma sobbed. Where will I go? Not my problem. Footsteps walking away, car doors slamming, engines starting, then gone. Emma lay on the cold pavement crying. Her body hurt. Her arm throbbed where he had grabbed her. Her shoulder ached from hitting the ground. Her knee was bleeding through her jeans. At 11:15, Rosa came outside. She had heard the commotion, saw Emma on the ground crying, searching for coins she couldn't see. You need to move along. Her voice was annoyed, not concerned. You're scaring customers. Please, Emma begged. They took my money. I said, move along. No compassion, no help, no humanity, just annoyance that she was causing a scene. Emma gathered her things with shaking hands. She found 3 coins. Out of the $8 she had saved over 3 days, she now had less than $1. Her sign was ripped. Someone had stepped on it. Her cup was dented, cracked. She stood slowly, her body protesting every movement, and she walked away from her corner, the only place she had known, the only stability she had for 4 years. Now, it was gone. Emma had saved 12 lives and lost her own. She wandered for hours. No destination, just away. Away from the Serpent Kings. Away from her corner. Away from everything. She was in unfamiliar territory now. Different sounds, different smells, different echoes off the buildings. No mental map, no safety. Every step was uncertain, dangerous. She was lost, disoriented, scared, and the sun was going down. Emma Collins had done something brave, something good, and the world had punished her for it. But what she didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that 8 blocks away, Ghost had seen everything. And he was already coming back. Ghost couldn't stop thinking about her face, those blind eyes filled with terror, the tears cutting through dirt on her cheeks, the way her voice cracked on those 4 words. Run. It's a trap. He had barely made it 2 blocks before he pulled over. The other 11 bikes followed engines idling in confusion. Jimmy pulled up beside him. Ghost. What the hell was that? Why did we bolt? Ghost didn't answer. He was staring back toward Rosa's cafe, though he couldn't see it from here. Rosa ran up next. Her bike was still rumbling. Talk to me. What happened back there, the blind girl? Emma. She warned me. Warned you about what Ghost's jaw tightened. Said it was a trap. Said to run. Big Mike killed his engine. You trusted a homeless girl over your own eyes? Ghost turned to face him. His expression killed the argument before it started. She was terrified, Mike. Not crazy, not confused, terrified. The kind of fear you can't fake. The crew went silent. Jimmy scratched his beard. So what? Someone was waiting for us. An ambush. That's what she said. Rosa's voice was careful. Ghost. I believe you. But how would she know? She can't even see. She can hear. Ghost's voice was certain. She hears everything. She's been on that corner for years. Someone talked. Someone planned something right in front of her because they thought she was furniture. The weight of that statement settled over the group. Diego spoke up. He was the club's sergeant-at-arms, the one who handled security. If there was an ambush, they'll know it failed. They'll know someone warned us. Ghost's blood went cold. They'll know it was her. He was already turning his bike around. Ghost, wait. Rosa grabbed his arm. We don't know what we're riding into. Could be a second trap. Then stay here. Ghost's voice left no room for argument. But I'm going back. That girl just saved all our lives, and right now she's probably paying for it. He gunned the engine. Rosa cursed under her breath, then followed. Jimmy and Diego fell in behind her. The other 8 stayed back, watching their leaders disappear toward the intersection that should have been their grave. If someone you'd never expect saved your life, would you go back for them? Tell me in the comments. Because Ghost was about to find out what his gratitude was worth. Ghost pushed his road glide hard. The engine screamed. Wind tore at his face. 2 blocks. 1 block. He rounded the corner onto 4th Street. The intersection was empty. No Serpent Kings. No ambush. No gunfire. Just scattered coins catching the morning sunlight. A ripped cardboard sign. A dented plastic cup lying on its side. But no Emma. Ghost killed his engine and dismounted before the bike fully stopped. His boots hit pavement, and he was moving, scanning the area, his heart pounding harder than it had during the escape. Rosa pulled up behind him. Oh God. Jimmy saw the scattered coins. They got to her. Ghost crouched down, picked up the dented cup. There was blood on the rim. Fresh. His hands started shaking. Not from fear, from rage. Diego was already questioning people on the street. A man in a business suit. A woman with a stroller. Everyone shook their heads. Everyone looked away. Nobody wanted to get involved. Ghost walked into Rosa's cafe. The bell chimed. The smell of coffee and bacon filled the air. Normal. Peaceful. Like nothing had happened outside. Rosa, the cafe owner, was behind the counter wiping down tables. She looked up when Ghost entered. Her face went pale. Where's the girl she left? Rosa's voice was too quick, too nervous. Where did she go? I don't know. Some guys hassled her. She took off. Ghost leaned on the counter. His presence filled the room. What guys? I didn't see. I was busy. She was lying. Ghost could see it in the way she avoided his eyes. The way she wiped the same spot on the counter 3 times. The way her hands trembled slightly. You were busy, while a blind girl got attacked right outside your door. You were busy. Rosa's chin lifted. She's not my responsibility. Ghost stared at her for a long moment. The cafe went silent. Other customers looked down at their plates, pretending to be invisible. If she comes back, Ghost said slowly, you call me. He pulled out a card with his number, slid it across the counter. Rosa stared at it like it might bite her. And if those guys come back, you call me then too. Understand? Rosa nodded. Nervous. The Iron Brotherhood didn't make requests. They made statements. Ghost walked out. Outside, Rosa had found something. A piece of Emma's blanket. Torn. Caught on a parking meter. She tried to run, Rosa said. They must have grabbed her here. Dragged her. Which direction? Rosa pointed east. Away from the main streets, toward the older part of town. The abandoned buildings, the places people disappeared. Ghost's stomach dropped. We split up. He was already walking toward his bike. Rosa, Jimmy, take the north blocks. Diego, you're with me. We go east. And if we find them, Diego's hand was already on his weapon. Ghost's voice was ice. Then God help them. The search started at 11:23 a.m. By noon, they had covered 6 blocks, checked every alley, every doorway, every place a scared blind girl might hide. Nothing. Ghost questioned every homeless person he could find. Most scattered when they saw the Iron Brotherhood coming. The few who stayed knew nothing, or claimed to know nothing. One old man wrapped in newspapers under an overpass offered a fragment. Saw a girl, blind one. She was crying, walking that way. He pointed vaguely east. Hours ago. Ghost cursed under his breath. She could be anywhere by now. At 2 p.m., Rosa called. Nothing on our end. Jimmy's checking the shelters, but none of them have seen her. Ghost pinched the bridge of his nose. She wouldn't go to a shelter. Why not? Because she doesn't trust anyone. She's been on her own for 6 years. She's going to find somewhere to hide. Somewhere she feels safe. Rosa was quiet for a moment. Ghost. It's a big city. I know. She could have left. Gotten on a bus, gone anywhere. She doesn't have money. They took everything. Then she's on foot. Blind. In a part of town she doesn't know, with people actively looking to hurt her. Ghost closed his eyes. He knew the math. He knew the odds. A blind homeless girl injured and alone in an unfamiliar area with a gang wanting revenge. Every hour that passed, those odds got worse. Keep looking, he said. I'll call when I find something. He hung up before Rosa could respond. Diego stood beside him. Ghost, it's been 3 hours. Maybe we should regroup, get more people. Search in the morning when we have daylight. Ghost shook his head. She doesn't have until morning. Diego didn't argue. He had known Ghost for 15 years. When Ghost made a decision, arguing was pointless. They kept searching. At 4 p.m., Ghost found her cup. The plastic one she collected coins in. Cracked and dented, lying in a gutter 2 blocks from where they'd last seen it. She came this way, Ghost said. She was collecting her things, trying to salvage what she could. Diego looked around. This area's rough. Empty buildings, condemned properties, not a lot of foot traffic. Good place to hide. Also good place to disappear. Ghost didn't respond. He just kept walking. At 5 p.m. they found blood, drops on the pavement, leading into an alley behind a row of abandoned storefronts. Ghost's heart stopped. He followed the trail. The blood led to a chain-link fence. There was a gap at the bottom just big enough for someone small to squeeze through. She went over. Diego examined the fence, or under. There's fabric caught on the wire. Ghost recognized the color. Gray, like her sweater. The sweater with holes. The one the cold crawled through. He forced the gap wider and pushed through, ignoring the metal biting into his leather jacket. The other side was worse. Broken glass. Needles. The detritus of desperation and addiction. Emma had crawled through here. Blind. Bleeding. Terrified. Ghost felt something in his chest crack. He kept moving. At 5:47 p.m., his phone rang. Rosa's voice was urgent. "Ghost, we found something. A guy named Marcus lives under the bridge on Campbell. Says he saw her around 3 p.m. She was asking for directions. Directions were anywhere safe. He said she was crying. Said she kept asking if anyone was following her." Ghost's grip tightened on the phone. "Did she say where she was going?" "No, but Marcus said she headed toward the old industrial district. Said something about finding a building with no people. Ghost knew that area. Abandoned warehouses, condemned factories, the kind of places where the forgotten went to die. I'm heading there now." "Ghost, it's getting dark." Rosa's voice was worried. "That area's dangerous even in daylight." "Then I'll be careful." He hung up. Diego was already on his bike. "I heard. Let's go." They rode east into the dying light. The sun sets fast in Tucson. One moment there's light, the next, there's shadow. Ghost pushed his bike hard, weaving through streets that got emptier and darker with every block. The industrial district was a graveyard of American manufacturing. Rusted fences, boarded windows, graffiti marking territory that no one wanted anymore. Ghost killed his engine at the edge of the district. The silence was overwhelming. No traffic, no voices, just wind whistling through broken windows. "She's in here somewhere," Ghost said. Diego looked at the sprawl of abandoned buildings. "There must be 50 structures. We'll need days to search them all. We don't have days." Ghost pulled out his flashlight. Started walking. Every building they passed, he called her name. "Emma." His voice echoed off concrete and rusted metal. "Emma, it's Ghost. It's safe. You can come out?" Nothing. An hour passed. Then 2. Diego's phone buzzed, Rosa checking in. No other leads. The rest of the crew wanted to know if they should join the search. Ghost told them to wait. Too many people moving through here would spook her worse. If she heard motorcycles, she might think the Serpent Kings had found her. At 9:30 p.m., Diego's flashlight flickered and died. Ghost handed him his backup. "Keep going. I'll take the east side." They split up. Ghost moved through the darkness alone. His flashlight cut through shadows, revealing nothing but debris and decay. He thought about his daughter, Melissa. She had been 22 when she died. 3 years ago. Bright, beautiful, full of potential. Then drugs got their hooks in, and Ghost watched her slip away piece by piece. He tried everything. Rehab, interventions, tough love, unconditional love. Nothing worked. She overdosed in a motel room in Phoenix. Alone. Cold. Forgotten. Ghost found out 2 days later. By then, her body was already at the morgue. He never got to say goodbye. He carried that failure like a stone in his chest. Every day. Every hour. But maybe he could save Emma. Maybe this time he could be fast enough. Strong enough. Present enough. Maybe this time he wouldn't fail. At 10:15 p.m., Ghost turned down a side street. His 6th pass through this area. He was running out of time, running out of hope. Then he saw it. An abandoned warehouse at the end of the block. different from the others. The door was slightly ajar. Fresh footprints in the dust leading inside. Small footprints. Ghost's heart hammered. He approached slowly, quietly. If Emma was inside and heard heavy boots, she might run, might hurt herself worse trying to escape. He slipped through the door. The darkness was absolute. His flashlight beam swept across empty space, debris, broken machinery, rats scurrying into shadows. Emma. His voice was soft now, gentle. Emma, it's Ghost, from the cafe, from the Iron Brotherhood. You warned me this morning. You saved my life. Silence. He moved deeper into the building. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to help. Please, Emma, let me help. A sound, faint, almost imperceptible, but Ghost's years on the streets had trained his ears. He knew that sound. Crying. He followed it, around a corner, down a hallway, into a smaller room at the back of the warehouse. And there she was, huddled against the wall, her blanket pulled tight around her shoulders, shivering violently, her whole body convulsing with cold. Her lips were blue, her face was pale, almost gray. She was barely conscious. Ghost's heart shattered. He rushed over, boots crunching on broken glass. Emma. Emma, can you hear me? Her eyes didn't focus. She didn't recognize his voice. In her state, she couldn't recognize anything. Hypothermia was stealing her thoughts, shutting her down. Please. Her whisper was barely audible. Don't hurt me. Ghost dropped to his knees beside her. It's me. It's Ghost. From this morning. Ghost. Her voice was so small, so far away. Yeah, kiddo. I got you. You're safe now. He wrapped her in his jacket, heavy leather still warm from his body heat. But she was so cold, dangerously cold. He pulled out his phone, dialed Diego. I found her. East Warehouse, end of the block. Bring the van, now. How is she bad? Really bad. Just hurry. Ghost lifted Emma in his arms. She weighed almost nothing. Skin and bones. He could feel her ribs through her clothes, could feel how fragile she was, how close to breaking. She mumbled something he couldn't understand. Her eyes rolled back. Stay with me, Emma. Stay awake. Talk to me. Cold, she whispered. So cold. I know. Help is coming. He carried her toward the front of the warehouse. His arms burned, his legs ached, but he didn't slow down, didn't stop. Emma's head lolled against his chest. Why? Her voice cracked. Why what? Why are you helping me? Ghost's throat tightened. Because you saved my life, all our lives. But I'm nobody. I'm nothing. Ghost stopped walking. He looked down at this girl, this 21-year-old blind girl who had been invisible to the world for 6 years, who had nothing and no one, who had risked everything to save strangers. No. His voice was firm. You're not nothing. You're brave. You're the bravest person I know. I lost everything. We're going to help you get it back. Better than before. Why would you do that? Ghost started walking again. Faster now. He could hear the van approaching, because that's what family does. And your family, now, Emma didn't respond. She had slipped into unconsciousness. But she was breathing. Still fighting. Still holding on. The van screeched to a stop outside the warehouse. Diego jumped out eyes wide when he saw Emma in Ghost's arms. Is she alive? Barely. We need to get her to a hospital. Now! Rosa had been riding behind the van. She was already on the phone calling ahead to the ER. They loaded Emma into the back. Ghost climbed in beside her, still holding her, still trying to transfer his body heat. "Drive," he said. "Fast." Diego floored it. The van tore through empty streets. Ghost watched Emma's face, watched her shallow breathing, watched the slight flutter of her eyelids. "Come on, kid. Don't give up now." He thought about Melissa again. The phone call he never got to answer. The goodbye he never got to say. The failure he never got to fix. "Not this time," he whispered. "Not this time." The van pulled up to the emergency room at 10:47 p.m. Ghost carried Emma through the automatic doors. Nurses rushed over with a gurney. Questions flew like gunfire. What happened? How long was she exposed? Does she have insurance? "We're covering everything," Ghost said. His voice was steel. "Everything she needs, whatever it costs." They took Emma away, wheeled her through double doors into the ER. Ghost stood in the waiting room watching her disappear. His jacket was gone, wrapped around a girl he barely knew, a girl who had saved his life with 4 words. Rosa put a hand on his shoulder. "You found her. She's going to make it." Ghost didn't respond. He just stood there, staring at those doors, waiting for news, and praying that this time he wasn't too late. The waiting room clock read 11:47 p.m. when the doctor finally emerged. Ghost was on his feet before the man could speak. Rosa stood beside him, her hand gripping his arm. The doctor looked exhausted. His scrubs were wrinkled, his eyes heavy with the weight of too many emergencies. "She's stable." Ghost exhaled. He hadn't realized he'd been holding his breath. "Severe hypothermia," the doctor continued. "Dehydration, malnutrition, multiple contusions, a hairline fracture in her left wrist, probably from the fall. But she's young. She's fighting." "Can I see her?" The doctor hesitated. "She's asking for someone named Ghost. I assume that's you?" Ghost nodded. "She woke up about 10 minutes ago. First thing she said was your name." The doctor's expression softened slightly. "Whatever you did, you saved her life. Another hour out there, and we'd be having a very different conversation." Ghost didn't respond. He just moved past the doctor through the double doors down the hallway lined with beeping machines and sterile light. Room 114. He stopped at the doorway. Emma lay in the hospital bed, looking smaller than he remembered. Wires connected her to monitors. An IV dripped into her arm. Her face was still pale, but the blue had left her lips. Color was returning. Her head turned slightly when she heard footsteps. Ghost. Her voice was raw, broken, but alive. "Yeah, kid, it's me." He walked to her bedside, pulled up a chair, sat down heavily. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Emma's hand moved across the blanket, searching. Ghost reached out and took it. Her fingers were cold, fragile, but they gripped his with surprising strength. "You came back," she whispered. "Of course I came back. I thought—" her voice cracked. "I thought you'd just leave. Everyone leaves." Ghost's chest tightened. "Not me. Not ever." Tears slid down Emma's cheeks. She didn't wipe them away. "They hurt me, Ghost. They took everything, my corner, my money, my cup, everything I had. I know. I didn't know where to go. I just walked. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't find anything. I thought I was going to die." Ghost squeezed her hand. "But you didn't. You held on. You fought," I prayed. Emma's voice was barely audible. "First time since my parents died. I prayed for someone to find me. Ghost's throat was too tight to speak. And then you came, Emma continued. You actually came. Ghost leaned forward. Listen to me, Emma. What you did today. You saved 12 lives. 12 people are going home to their families tonight because of you. You did that. A blind girl on a street corner with nothing to her name did what nobody else could do. I was so scared. Courage isn't not being scared, it's being scared and doing it anyway. And you did it. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she asked the question Ghost had been dreading. What happens now? Ghost had thought about this during the search, during the long hours of walking through abandoned buildings, during the drive to the hospital. He'd thought about his daughter, about the chances he didn't take, the help he didn't offer fast enough. The moment he realized it was too late. This time would be different. Now Ghost said we take care of you. Emma's blind eyes widened. What do you mean? I mean, you're not going back to that corner, not going back to the streets, not going back to sleeping in alleys and begging for change. But I don't have anywhere else. Yes, you do. Emma's hand trembled in his. The club has a building, Ghost continued. Big place, lots of rooms. One of them is yours if you want it. I can't afford rent. I don't have money, I don't have anything. It's not about money. You're part of the family now. But I'm not a biker. I can't even see. You don't have to ride to be family. You just have to be you. Emma's tears came faster now. She tried to speak, but couldn't. Ghost just held her hand and waited. Finally, she found her voice. Why? Why would you do this for me? Ghost was quiet for a long moment. Then he told her about Melissa, about his daughter, about watching her slip away, about the phone call that came 2 days too late, about the failure he carried like a stone in his chest. I couldn't save her, Ghost said. His voice was rough. I tried everything, but I wasn't fast enough, wasn't smart enough, wasn't there when it mattered. Emma listened. Her hand gripped his tighter. But maybe I can do better this time, Ghost continued. Maybe I can help someone who actually wants to be helped, someone who's brave enough to fight. Emma was crying openly now. I'm not brave. Yes, you are. You just don't know it yet. The doctor came in at midnight, checked Emma's vitals, adjusted her medication, said she'd need to stay for observation for at least 48 hours. Ghost didn't leave. He sat in that chair all night holding Emma's hand while she slept. Rosa came by at 2 a.m. with coffee and sandwiches. She looked at Ghost, at the way he watched Emma, at the determination in his eyes. You really mean it, Rosa said quietly. You're taking her in. She saved all our lives. Ghost didn't look away from Emma. That means something. It means everything. At 6 a.m., Jimmy arrived. He'd been up all night coordinating with the rest of the crew. Got some news, he said. His voice was grim. Ghost looked up. What the Serpent Kings? Jimmy sat down heavily. We reached out to some contacts, found out what happened, and the ambush was months in the planning. Ray Cortez put it together personally. He's been trying to take over Tucson for 2 years. We've been in his way. Ghost nodded. He knew this already. Here's the thing. Jimmy leaned forward. Ray's not just angry. He's humiliated. His crew is talking. Word got out that a blind, homeless girl ruined his entire operation. That's not something a guy like Ray lets go. Ghost's jaw tightened. He's looking for her, Jimmy continued. Put the word out. Anyone who finds her gets paid. Anyone who brings her to him gets paid more. Emma stirred in her sleep. Ghost lowered his voice. How many people know where she is right now? Just us. But hospitals have records. Someone could talk. Ghost stood up. We need to move her. as soon as the doctors clear it, and take her where the clubhouse." Ghost's voice was steel. "She's under our protection now. Anyone who wants to get to her goes through me first. If you've ever had someone stand up for you when you couldn't stand for yourself, comment below. Those moments change everything." 2 days later, Emma was discharged. She walked out of the hospital on shaking legs, Ghost on one side, Rosa on the other. Jimmy and Diego waited by the van, watching the street, making sure no one was following. Emma couldn't see any of it, but she could hear the tension in their voices, the careful way they moved, the way they flanked her like bodyguards. "Something's wrong," she said. "You're all nervous." Ghost helped her into the van. "Nothing's wrong? You're lying. I can hear it." Ghost paused. "There's a man named Ray Cortez. He ran the ambush. He's not happy that it failed." Emma's hands started shaking. "He's looking for me." "He won't find you." Ghost's voice was absolute. "You're going to stay at the clubhouse. You'll be surrounded by family. No one gets in without us knowing. But what if he won't?" Emma wanted to believe him. But 6 years on the streets had taught her that promises meant nothing, that protection was temporary, that everyone eventually gave up. The van started moving. Emma listened to the sounds of the city passing by. Traffic, horns, the rumble of the engine. Then the sounds changed. The traffic grew quieter. The engine echoes bounced differently. They were entering a new area, somewhere with bigger buildings, more space. The van stopped. "We're here," Rosa said. Doors opened. Hands guided Emma out. She stood on solid ground, feeling the sun on her face. Ghost took her arm. "Ready to see your new home? I can't see anything." Ghost paused. Then he laughed. First genuine laugh she'd heard from him. "Right. Sorry. Bad choice of words. Ready to hear your new home?" Emma almost smiled. "Okay." They walked forward. Ghost counted the steps for her. 15 from the van to the front door. The door's heavy swings inward. 3 steps up once you're inside. Emma memorized every detail. Inside, the sounds changed again. Voices, multiple conversations, the clink of glasses, a television playing somewhere, the smell of coffee and motor oil. "Hey everyone," Ghost called out. "This is Emma. She's family now." The room went quiet. Then, one by one, voices welcomed her. "Hey Emma. Welcome home. Heard what you did. That took guts. Good to have you." Emma's throat closed up. She couldn't speak. Rosa squeezed her shoulder. "Come on. Let me show you your room." They climbed stairs. 13 steps. Turn right. 4 steps to the first door. 6 more to the second. "This is yours," Rosa said. Emma stepped inside. She couldn't see the room, but she could feel it. The space. The warmth. The sense of something that was hers. Full-size bed here. Rosa guided her hand. "Dresser against this wall. Nightstand beside the bed. We got you some Braille books. They're on the shelf by the window." Emma's fingers moved across the surfaces. The bed was soft. Real pillows. A comforter that didn't have holes. "I've never had my own room before," Emma whispered. "Well, you do now. And it's yours for as long as you want it." Emma sat on the edge of the bed. The tears came before she could stop them. Rosa sat beside her, put an arm around her shoulders. "Let it out, honey. You're safe now." Emma cried for everything she'd lost. Her parents, her childhood, her corner, her cup, her dignity. But she also cried for everything she'd found. A room, a bed, people who called her family. For the first time in 6 years, she wasn't invisible. The first week was adjustment. Emma learned the clubhouse by sound and touch. 42 steps from her room to the kitchen, 18 from the kitchen to the common area, 27 to the front door. She memorized voices, Ghost's gravelly tone, Rosa's quick speech, Jimmy's loud laugh, Diego's quiet steadiness. They learned, too. They announced themselves when entering a room so she wouldn't startle. They kept pathways clear so she wouldn't trip. They described things without her having to ask. By the second week, Emma started helping. Small things at first. Folding laundry by texture and size, answering the clubhouse phone, helping prep dinner. Rosa taught her to chop vegetables safely. Jimmy installed Braille labels on doors. Big Mike showed her where the bathroom was. 3 doors down. Emma memorized everything. The squeak of the third stair, the hum of the refrigerator, the way voices echoed in the common area, the smell of motor oil from the garage, the warmth of sunlight through her bedroom window in the afternoon. She was learning to belong. Then, on Friday night, everything changed. Ghost called everyone to the dining room. Family dinner, Rosa explained. Every Friday. Everyone who can be there is there. Emma was nervous. So many people. So many voices. What if she said something wrong? What if they didn't really want her there? Rosa led her to the table. Long table. 20 people. Emma sat between Ghost and Rosa. They made her a plate, described each item. Pot roast here, mashed potatoes at 2 o'clock, green beans at 10, bread at 6. Emma ate slowly, savoring every bite. Halfway through the meal, Ghost stood. The room quieted. I want to make a toast, he said. To Emma. Emma's heart stopped. 3 weeks ago, this girl was invisible. She sat on a corner, and the world walked past her like she didn't exist. Then one morning she heard something she wasn't supposed to hear. And she had to make a choice. Ghost's voice was thick with emotion. She could have stayed quiet. Could have stayed safe. Could have let 12 people die to protect herself. But she didn't. She spoke up. She risked everything. And she saved all of us. Silence in the room. To Emma, Ghost said, "The bravest person I know. Welcome home, kid." To Emma. The room echoed with voices. Emma couldn't stop crying. Rosa hugged her. Jimmy raised his glass. Even Big Mike, who barely spoke to anyone, nodded at her with respect. For the first time since her parents died, Emma felt like she belonged somewhere. That night, Emma lay in her bed. Real mattress. Clean sheets. A roof that didn't leak. Walls that kept the cold out. She pulled the comforter up to her chin and listened. Distant laughter. A television playing. Footsteps in the hallway. The rumble of a motorcycle pulling in outside. Family sounds. She closed her eyes. For the first time in 6 years, she felt safe. But safety, she would learn, was never permanent. Because 3 weeks later, Ray Cortez finally found out where she was hiding. And he was coming to finish what he started. The message arrived on a Tuesday morning. Ghost was in the garage, working on his road glide, when Jimmy burst through the door. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. "We got a problem." Ghost looked up. His hands stilled on the engine. What kind of problem? Jimmy handed him a phone. A text message on the screen. Ghost read it. His blood turned to ice. "The blind girl cost me everything. Now I'm taking everything from her. Tell Stone I'm coming." Ghost's jaw clenched so tight his teeth ached. When did this come in 20 minutes ago? It was sent to one of our contacts, someone who owes Ray money. Ghost stood. His whole body was rigid. Does Emma know? Not yet. Rosa's with her in the kitchen. Ghost pocketed the phone, walked toward the main building. His boots hit the ground like hammer blows. Jimmy followed. Ghost, what's the play? Emergency meeting. Everyone. Now. 20 minutes later, the entire club was assembled. 12 members, the same 12 Emma had saved. They sat in the common room, faces grim, waiting for Ghost to speak. Ghost stood at the front. He held up the phone. Ray Cortez knows where Emma is. He's making a move. The room erupted. How did he find out who talked? We need to move her. Ghost raised a hand. Silence fell. Doesn't matter how he found out. What matters is what we do next. Diego leaned forward. We should hit them first. Take the fight to them before they bring it here. Ghost shook his head. That's what Ray wants. He wants us scattered. He wants us making mistakes. We stay together. We stay smart. So what then? Jimmy asked. We just wait. We fortify. Ghost's voice was steel. Double patrols. No one goes out alone. Emma doesn't leave the building without at least 3 people with her. Rosa spoke up. She was supposed to start at the community center next week. Her job. Ghost's expression tightened. He had arranged that job. Pulled strings. Called in favors. Emma had been so excited when he told her. Now everything was at risk again. We postpone, Ghost said, until this is handled. For how long? As long as it takes. The meeting ended. Members dispersed to their positions. Ghost walked to the kitchen. Emma was sitting at the table. Rosa beside her. They had been practicing her knife skills. A cutting board covered with uneven vegetable chunks. Emma's head turned when she heard Ghost's footsteps. Something happened, she said. I can hear it in the way everyone's moving. Fast, nervous. What's wrong? Ghost sat down across from her. He didn't want to tell her. Didn't want to see the fear return to her face. Didn't want to watch her retreat back into herself. But she deserved the truth. Ray Cortez sent a message, Ghost said. He knows you're here. Emma's face went white. Her hands started shaking. The same tremor Ghost had seen that first day. That morning on the corner. He's coming for me. He's trying to scare us. Ghost reached across the table, took her hands. But he's not going to get to you, I promise. Emma pulled her hands away. You can't promise that. Her voice cracked. Nobody can promise that. He has men, weapons, resources. And I'm nothing. I'm a liability. You're not a liability. Yes, I am. Emma stood abruptly. The chair scraped back. I'm putting everyone at risk, all of you, just by being here. Emma. Maybe I should leave. Ghost stood. His voice was sharp. No. If I'm not here, he has no reason to come. If I disappear, you're all safe. And what about you? Ghost stepped closer. What happens to you if you leave? Emma was crying now. Tears streaming down her cheeks. It doesn't matter. I've been alone before. I can be alone again. Ghost grabbed her shoulders. Not rough, firm. Listen to me. You're not going anywhere. This is your home now. These people are your family, and family doesn't run when things get hard. But no. Ghost's voice softened. We protect each other. That's what we do. You saved 12 lives. Now let those 12 lives save yours. Emma stood there trembling. Then she collapsed into Ghost's arms. She sobbed against his chest. All the fear, all the trauma, all the years of being alone and invisible and worthless. Ghost held her. He thought about Melissa again, about all the times he should have held her like this and didn't, all the times he let pride or anger or frustration get in the way. Not this time. "I'm scared," Emma whispered. "I know." Ghost's voice was thick. "But you're not alone anymore. And I'm not going to let anyone hurt you. Have you ever felt like you were putting others in danger just by existing? That fear is real, but so is love. Comment if you've ever had someone refuse to let you face your battles alone." 3 days passed. The clubhouse was on high alert. Patrols ran 24 hours. No one slept well. Emma tried to help where she could, answered phones, helped in the kitchen. But she felt useless. A burden. The person everyone was risking their lives to protect. On the 4th day, something changed. Rosa came to Emma's room. Her footsteps were different. Lighter. Excited. "Get dressed," Rosa said. "We're going somewhere." Emma's stomach dropped. "Where? It's a surprise. I don't like surprises." Rosa laughed. "You'll like this one. Trust me." 20 minutes later, Emma was in a car. Rosa driving. Jimmy and Diego following in a second vehicle. The drive took 15 minutes. Emma counted the turns. Left, right, left again. Straight for a while. Then they stopped. Emma heard voices. Children's voices. Laughter. The sound of a basketball bouncing. "Where are we?" Rosa guided her out of the car. The community center. "I know you were supposed to start next week, but I talked to Ghost. He agreed you needed this." Emma's heart hammered. "But it's not safe. Ray is not going to stop you from living your life." Rosa's voice was firm. "We're here. Jimmy and Diego are here. You're protected, and you need to see what you're fighting for." They walked inside. The sounds washed over Emma. Kids talking. Adults giving instructions. The squeak of shoes on a gym floor. Rosa led her to the front desk. "This is where you'll work, answering phones, greeting families, helping people find what they need." Emma's hands ran over the desk. The phone. A computer keyboard. A sign-in sheet. "I can do this. You can do anything." A small voice interrupted. "Are you blind?" Emma turned toward the sound. A child, maybe 7 or 8 years old, standing right beside her. "Yes, I'm blind." "Cool. Can you read the bumpy letters?" Emma smiled. The first real smile in days. "You mean Braille?" "Yeah, I learned about it in school. Can you teach me?" Emma's throat tightened. "Maybe someday." The child's footsteps bounded away. Just like that. No judgment, no pity, just curiosity and acceptance. Rosa squeezed Emma's arm. "See, you belong here." Emma spent 2 hours at the community center. She answered phones, greeted parents, helped a teenager find information about after-school programs. Nobody treated her like she was broken. Nobody looked through her like she was invisible. For those 2 hours, she forgot about Ray Cortez, forgot about the danger, forgot about everything except the simple joy of being useful. Then, they went back to the clubhouse. And everything changed. Ghost was waiting at the door. His face was grim. Emma's heart stopped. "What happened?" "We caught one of Ray's guys." Ghost's voice was tight. He was watching the building. Scouting. Emma's legs went weak. Rosa steadied her. Did he see us leave? Ghost nodded. Probably. Emma felt sick. I shouldn't have gone. I shouldn't have. This isn't your fault. Ghost cut her off. He was going to find out anyway. At least now we know he's watching. What do? We wait. He'll make a move soon, and when he does, we'll be ready. The wait lasted 6 more days. 6 days of tension, of jumping at every sound, of checking windows and doors, of sleeping in shifts. Emma barely slept at all. She lay awake at night, listening. The creak of the building, the rumble of motorcycles, the distant sound of traffic. Every noise could be Ray coming for her. Every silence could be the calm before the storm. On the 6th night, Rosa found her in the kitchen at 3 a.m. Can't sleep. Emma shook her head. Rosa sat beside her, made 2 cups of tea, placed one in Emma's hands. You know what I was doing before I joined the club? Emma wrapped her fingers around the warm cup. No. Army medic, 3 tours in Afghanistan. Rosa's voice was matter-of-fact. I saw things over there, things that stay with you. When I came home, I couldn't sleep either, kept waiting for the next explosion, the next attack. Emma listened. It took me years to learn that you can't live waiting for the bad thing to happen. If you do, you miss all the good things in between. But Ray is coming. Maybe. Maybe not. Rosa sipped her tea. Either way, you can't stop living. That's what he wants. He wants you afraid. He wants you broken before he even gets here. Don't give him that power. Emma was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked, How do you stop being afraid? Rosa considered the question. You don't. Fear keeps you sharp, keeps you alive. But you learn to act despite the fear. You learn that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing what needs to be done while you're terrified. Emma took a shaky breath. I don't know if I can do that. You already did. Rosa's voice was warm. That morning on the corner, you were terrified. And you warned Ghost anyway. That's courage, Emma. You already have it. You just need to remember. The attack came on day 7, Tuesday, 11 a.m., the same time, the same day of the week. Ray wanted to make a point. Emma was at the community center, her second day on the job. Jimmy and Diego were outside. Rosa was in the back office. The morning had been quiet. A few families coming and going, some kids signing up for after-school programs. Then Emma heard it. Footsteps. Heavy. Confident. The kind of walk that said the person owned wherever they stood. She froze. Hello, Emma. That voice. Cold. Controlled. The voice that had given orders on the corner. The voice that had threatened her. Hurt her. Taken everything. Ray Cortez. Emma's hands gripped the desk so hard her knuckles went white. What's the matter? Ray's voice came closer. You look like you've seen a ghost. Oh, wait. You can't see anything, can you? Emma's heart was pounding so loud she could barely think. Security. She needed to alert someone. There was a button under the desk. Ghost had shown her. An emergency button that sent an alert to everyone's phone. Her hand moved slowly, carefully, looking for this A click. Ray had found the button, disconnected it. Your boyfriend thought of everything, didn't he? Too bad he didn't think of me walking through the front door. Where's Jimmy? Where's Diego? Emma's voice was barely a whisper. The guys outside Ray laughed. They're taking a little nap. Don't worry, they're not dead. Yet. Emma stood, Her chair scraped back. "What do you want?" "What do I want?" Ray's voice turned hard. "I want my reputation back. I want my operation back. I want the respect you cost me when you opened your mouth. I don't care what you were trying to do." Ray grabbed her arm. The same grip, the same bruising force. "You ruined everything, and now you're going to pay for it." Emma screamed. The sound echoed through the building. Rosa came running from the back. She saw Ray, saw Emma, reached for her phone. "Don't." Ray pulled out a gun, pointed it at Emma's head. "Call anyone and she dies." Rosa froze. "Good. Now we're going to walk out of here nice and quiet." Ray pulled Emma toward the door. "Anyone tries to stop us, she gets a bullet." Emma was trembling so violently she could barely stand. This was it. Everything Ghost had tried to prevent. Everything they had feared. Ray was taking her. And there was nothing anyone could do. Ghost's phone buzzed at 11:07 a.m. A text from Rosa. 2 words. "Ray. Here." Ghost was on his bike before he finished reading. He tore through the streets. Every red light ignored. Every speed limit shattered. His phone buzzed again. "He has Emma, leaving now. Black sedan." Ghost pushed the throttle harder. His heart was hammering. His vision was tunneling. Everything except getting to Emma was fading away. Not again. Not this time. He spotted the black sedan 2 blocks from the community center. It was moving fast, weaving through traffic. Ghost followed. His Harley screamed. The gap closed. He pulled alongside the driver's window. The driver saw him. Eyes went wide. Ghost slammed his fist through the glass. The sedan swerved. Brakes squealed. It jumped the curb, hit a fire hydrant. Water exploded into the air. Ghost was off his bike before it stopped moving. He ripped open the back door. Ray was inside, gun still pressed to Emma's head. "Back off, Stone." Ray's voice was desperate now. "I'll kill her. I swear to God." Ghost didn't back off. He stepped closer. "You pull that trigger, you die." "Not fast. Slow. I'll make sure of it." Ray's hand was shaking. The gun trembled against Emma's temple. Emma was crying. Silent tears streaming down her face. Ghost focused only on her. "Emma, listen to my voice. It's going to be okay." "Ghost, I'm right here." "I'm not leaving." Ray screamed. "Stop talking. Both of you, just stop." His finger tightened on the trigger. Then Emma moved. She couldn't see the gun, couldn't see Ray's face, but she could feel his position, could sense where he was. She threw her elbow back, hard. It connected with Ray's nose. The gun went off. Emma screamed, but the bullet went wide, shattered the window instead of her skull. Ghost lunged. 2 seconds. That's all it took. He had Ray on the ground. The gun kicked away, his knee on Ray's chest. Sirens in the distance. Someone had called the police. Ghost looked at Ray's bloody face. "It's over," Ghost said. "Your operation, your reputation, your freedom, all of it, over." Ray was crying now, begging. Ghost didn't care. He turned to Emma. She was huddled in the corner of the back seat, shaking, hyperventilating. Ghost reached for her, slowly, gently. "Emma, it's me. You're safe." Emma grabbed his hand, held on like she was drowning. He's done." Ghost's voice broke. "He's never going to hurt you again." Police cars surrounded them. Officers swarmed the sedan. Ray was hauled away in handcuffs. Ghost stayed with Emma. He held her in the back of that crashed car until the paramedics came, until Rosa arrived, until Jimmy and Diego, bruised but alive, pushed through the crowd. He held her, and he didn't let go, because this time he had been fast enough. This time he hadn't failed. If you believe in justice, if you believe the good guys should win, comment "Justice served" below. Emma was taken to the hospital. Again. But this time was different. This time she wasn't alone. Ghost rode in the ambulance with her. Rosa followed in the van. Jimmy and Diego drove behind. The entire Iron Brotherhood converged on the hospital. 12 bikes in the parking lot. 12 people in the waiting room. The doctor came out after an hour. She's fine, shaken, bruised. But fine, no serious injuries. Ghost exhaled. "Can I see her? She's asking for you." He walked back to her room. Emma was sitting up in bed, bandage on her arm where she'd scraped it during the crash, but alive, breathing, safe. "Hey kid," Ghost said. Emma turned toward his voice. Then she smiled. The first real smile he'd seen from her. "I hit him," Emma said. "I actually hit him." Ghost laughed. Despite everything. Despite the fear and the adrenaline and the crash. He laughed. "You broke his nose." "Good." Ghost sat beside her bed. Emma's hand found his. "Is it really over, yeah?" Ghost's voice was thick. "It's really over." Ray Cortez was arrested that afternoon. Assault, attempted kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon, terroristic threats, violating the restraining order Emma had filed weeks earlier. His operation crumbled without him. The Serpent Kings dissolved. His crew scattered. Ray got 7 years minimum. Emma was finally safe. Not just safe for now. Not just safe until the next threat. Really, truly safe. That night, the Iron Brotherhood gathered at the clubhouse, not for an emergency meeting, not for a crisis, for a celebration. Ghost stood at the head of the table. To Emma, he said, who faced her worst nightmare and fought back, who proved that courage isn't about not being afraid, it's about being terrified and standing up anyway. To Emma. The room echoed with voices. Emma sat in her usual spot, between Ghost and Rosa. Luna, her new guide dog, who had arrived just last week, lay at her feet. She was crying again. But these tears were different. These tears were joy. 1 year later, Emma stood at a podium she couldn't see. Her hands gripped the edges. Steady now, not shaking like they used to. Luna sat at her feet, warm and solid and patient. The community center was packed. 300 people, families, kids, local business owners, city officials, and in the front row, 12 bikers in leather vests watching her with pride. Emma took a breath. 1 year ago today, she said, I was invisible. The room went silent. I sat on a street corner with a cardboard sign and a plastic cup. I counted coins by sound because I couldn't see them. I ate from dumpsters. I slept in alleys. And every single day, hundreds of people walked past me like I didn't exist. Her voice was stronger now. Clearer. The voice of someone who had learned she mattered. I was 21 years old, and I had given up. Given up on people, given up on hope, given up on myself. I was just waiting to die. She paused. Then one morning I heard something I wasn't supposed to hear. 3 men planning to kill 12 people. Good people. People who had shown me kindness when no one else would look at me. Emma's hand found Luna's head. Drew strength from the contact. I had a choice. Stay quiet and stay safe. or speak up and risk everything. She smiled slightly. I spoke up. 4 words. Run. It's a trap. And those 4 words changed my life forever. Ghost was watching from the front row. His eyes hadn't left Emma since she took the stage. His chest was tight with emotion he rarely let himself feel. Rosa sat beside him. Jimmy on the other side. Diego. Big Mike. The whole crew. 1 year ago, they had been riding toward death. 1 year ago, a blind girl saved them all. I lost everything that day. Emma continued. The men I warned against came for me. They threw me to the ground, took my money, threatened my life. I wandered for hours, blind and bleeding, until I collapsed in an abandoned warehouse. I was dying of hypothermia when Ghost found me. Her voice cracked slightly on his name. He carried me to the hospital, paid for everything, and when I had nowhere to go, he gave me a home. The Iron Brotherhood gave me a family. She turned toward the front row, even though she couldn't see them. You didn't owe me anything. I was nobody, a homeless blind girl with nothing to offer. But you saw me. You actually saw me. And that changed everything. Ghost's jaw was tight. His eyes burned. Rosa put a hand on his arm. The room was completely still. Emma straightened. I'm not telling you this story for pity. I'm telling you because this community center exists because of what I learned. Everyone deserves to be seen. The homeless, the disabled, the forgotten, the invisible. Every single person who walks through these doors matters. She gestured to the crowd. This center serves 400 families a week now. After-school programs for at-risk kids, job training for adults, counseling, support groups, a place where nobody is invisible. Her voice rose. We built this together. The Iron Brotherhood. The city, local businesses, volunteers, all of you, because we believe that when someone falls through the cracks, we reach down and pull them back up. Applause started somewhere in the back. It spread. 300 people on their feet, clapping, cheering. Emma couldn't see it, but she could feel it. The energy, the love, the acceptance. And for a moment she was back on that corner. Cold, hungry, invisible. Then she was here, warm, fed, surrounded by family. The distance between those 2 moments was exactly 1 year. And 4 words. If Emma's story touched you, tell me where you're watching from. Let me know how far this message has traveled, because everyone deserves to know they matter. After the speech, people swarmed the stage. Parents thanking Emma for the programs that helped their kids. Business owners pledging more support. City officials promising expanded funding. Emma navigated through it all with Luna at her side. She had learned to read crowds by sound, the shuffle of feet, the direction of voices, the way people moved through space. A woman grabbed her hand. My son was in your after-school program. He was failing everything, getting into trouble, heading down a bad path. But your staff believed in him. Now he's on the honor roll. He wants to go to college. Emma squeezed her hand. That's beautiful. What's his name? Marcus. He's 13. Tell Marcus I'm proud of him. The woman was crying. I will. Thank you. Thank you so much. She walked away. Another person took her place. Then another. Then another. For an hour, Emma stood there, listening, connecting, being present. Finally, Ghost rescued her. Come on, kid. You've earned a break. He guided her through the crowd to a quiet corner. Emma leaned against the wall, exhaled heavily. That was exhausting. Ghost laughed. You were amazing. I almost cried 3 times. Only 3 I counted, at least 5. Emma punched his arm lightly. Shut up. Ghost caught her hand. Held it. Emma. I need to tell you something. What? His voice was different now. Serious. Heavy. You know I lost my daughter. Melissa. 3 years before I met you. Emma nodded. She knew the story. He had told her in the hospital that first night. What I never told you, Ghost continued, was that I blamed myself. Every day. Every hour. I thought if I had done something different, said something different, been there more, she'd still be alive. Emma listened. When I found you in that warehouse, half frozen, barely breathing. Ghost's voice cracked. I thought God was giving me a second chance. A chance to save someone I couldn't save before. Emma's eyes filled with tears. But here's the thing, Ghost said. You saved me too. What do you mean? Ghost took a breath. I was dying inside Emma. Had been for 3 years. Going through the motions. Running the club. Riding with the crew. But I wasn't living. I was just existing. Waiting to join Melissa. Emma's hand tightened on his. Then you came along. This blind girl with nothing who risked everything for strangers, who showed more courage in 1 moment than I'd shown in 3 years. Ghost's voice broke. You reminded me what living looks like, what hope looks like, what family really means. Emma was crying now, tears streaming down her face. Ghost pulled her into a hug. I didn't save you, Emma. We saved each other. They stood there for a long moment. Then Emma pulled back. I have something for you, too. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a small object, pressed it into Ghost's hand. Ghost looked down. It was a coin. A quarter. Worn and old. This was in my cup, Emma said. The morning you first stopped. The morning you bought me breakfast. It was the last coin someone dropped before you came over. I kept it. All this time. Ghost stared at the quarter. It was just a piece of metal. 25 cents, but it represented everything. I keep it to remind myself, Emma said, that one small act of kindness can change everything. You stopped, you saw me, and because of that, we're both standing here today. Ghost closed his fist around the coin. He couldn't speak. Emma smiled. So, thank you, Ghost, for stopping, for seeing me, for saving my life, and for letting me save yours. Have you ever kept something small that meant everything? A reminder of a moment that changed your life? Tell me about it in the comments. The celebration continued late into the evening. Food, music, laughter, kids running through the community center like they owned the place. Emma made her rounds with Luna, greeting everyone, thanking volunteers, listening to stories. She found Rosa near the food table. This is incredible, Rosa said. You did this, Emma. All of this. Emma shook her head. We did this. I just answered phones and showed up. Don't do that. Rosa's voice was firm. Don't minimize what you built. This center exists because you believed in it. You worked 80-hour weeks. You convinced businesses to donate. You recruited volunteers. You. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she said, You know what the hardest part was? What believing I deserved to be here. Every day for months I woke up thinking someone would realize I was a fraud, that they'd figure out I was just a homeless blind girl pretending to be something I wasn't. Rosa took her hand, and now Emma smiled. Now I know who I am. I'm Emma Collins. I'm the coordinator of the Tucson Family Community Center. I'm a member of the Iron Brotherhood. I'm alive. I'm useful. I matter. Rosa hugged her. Yes, you do. You always did. You just needed someone to help you see it. Midnight came too fast. The crowd thinned. Families went home. Volunteers started cleaning up. The Iron Brotherhood lingered. They gathered in the main hall. 12 members in a circle. Emma in the center. Ghost raised his glass. 1 year ago, we were riding toward death. 12 bikes. 12 targets. We didn't know it, but someone did. He looked at Emma. She couldn't see us, but she saw what mattered. She saw 12 lives worth saving, 12 families worth protecting, 12 friends worth fighting for. His voice thickened. So, tonight, we celebrate. Not just the center. Not just what we built. We celebrate Emma, the girl who gave us all a second chance. To Emma. The room echoed. To Emma. Emma stood in the center of the circle, Luna at her feet, family all around her. She thought about her parents, about what they would say if they could see her now, about how proud they would be. She thought about the corner, the cold concrete, the holes in her blanket, the coins she counted by sound. She thought about those 4 words. Run. It's a trap. And she realized something. Those words hadn't just saved 12 bikers. They had saved her too. By speaking up, by risking everything, by choosing courage over fear, she had found her voice, her purpose, her family. She had found herself. Thank you, Emma said, for giving me a home, for teaching me what family means, for never giving up on me. She was crying again. But these tears were different. These were the tears of someone who had finally found where she belonged. Ghost put his arm around her shoulders. The crew closed in around them. 12 people. 1 family. Built not by blood, but by choice. Built by courage, kindness, and the refusal to let anyone fall through the cracks. If you believe everyone deserves a second chance, comment below. If you've ever felt invisible and found someone who finally saw you, share your story. Because you matter. You've always mattered. You just needed someone to remind you. The next morning, Emma woke at 5:47. Old habits. But everything else was different. She lay in her bed. Real mattress. Clean sheets. Luna warm beside her. She could hear the clubhouse waking up. Coffee brewing. Footsteps in the hallway. Someone laughing downstairs. Family sounds. She got up. Dressed. Made her way to the kitchen. Ghost was already there. Morning, kid, morning. He handed her a cup of coffee. 2 sugars, extra cream, just the way she liked it. Big day today. Emma nodded. The mayor's coming to tour the center. Local news is doing a story. Ghost was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You know what I realized last night? What? 1 year ago I walked past your corner every Tuesday. Saw you sitting there with your sign and your cup, and I never stopped. Not once. For weeks. Emma listened. Then one day I did. I don't even know why. Something just told me to stop. To ask your name. To see you. He paused. What if I hadn't? What if I had just kept riding like I always did? Emma set down her coffee. Then I'd probably be dead. And so would you. Ghost nodded slowly. One moment. One decision. That's all it took to change everything. Emma reached across the table. Found his hand. That's why we do what we do at the center. Because you never know which moment matters, which conversation changes a life, which small act of kindness saves someone. Ghost squeezed her hand. I'm proud of you, Emma. More than I can say. Emma smiled. I'm proud of us. The interview with the local news happened at 2 p.m. A reporter, a cameraman, the mayor standing nearby looking proud. Emma sat in her office at the community center, Luna at her feet. Ghost just outside the door. Miss Collins, the reporter, said, "Your story has inspired thousands of people. A blind homeless woman who saved 12 lives and then built this incredible community center. What would you say to someone watching who feels invisible, who feels like they don't matter?" Emma thought about the question. She thought about her corner, her cup, her cardboard sign. She thought about Ray Cortez, the ambush, the terror. She thought about Ghost carrying her through the dark, about Rosa teaching her to cook, about Jimmy's laugh and Diego's quiet strength, and Big Mike's nod of respect. She thought about all the people who had told her she was nothing, worthless, a burden, and she thought about everyone who had shown her otherwise. "I would say this," Emma began. "You are not invisible. You might feel that way. The world might treat you that way, but you are not invisible." Her voice grew stronger. "Someone sees you. Maybe they haven't found you yet. Maybe they've been walking past you for weeks. But one day they'll stop. They'll ask your name. They'll see you." She leaned forward. "And when that happens, be ready. Be brave. Use your voice even when it shakes, because you never know when 4 words, just 4 words, might change everything." The reporter was silent for a moment. Then she asked, "What were your 4 words?" Emma smiled. "Run. It's a trap." The story aired that evening. By morning it had gone viral, hundreds of thousands of views, comments pouring in from across the country, people sharing their own stories, their own moments of being seen. Emma's phone rang non-stop. Interview requests, speaking invitations, book offers. Ghost helped her navigate the chaos. "What do you want to do?" he asked. "You can say no to all of it." Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I want to say yes to the parts that matter, the parts that might help someone else feel less invisible." "Then that's what we'll do." Over the next month, Emma spoke at 3 conferences. She shared her story with thousands of people, homeless advocates, disability rights groups, community organizers. Every time the response was the same. Standing ovations, tears, people lining up afterward to share their own journeys. And every time Emma came home to the clubhouse, to her room, her family, her life. 1 year after those 4 words, Emma Collins was no longer invisible. She was a symbol, a voice, a light in the darkness. But more than that, she was home. 6 months after the anniversary, something unexpected happened. Rosa found Emma in her office going through paperwork. "You have a visitor." "Who?" Rosa's voice was strange. "Tight. She says she's your cousin, your mother's niece. She saw the news story." Emma's heart stopped. "I don't have any family." "Apparently you do." Rosa paused. "Her name is Grace. She's been looking for you for years." Emma stood slowly. Her legs were shaking. 15 years. 15 years since her parents died. 15 years since she'd had any blood family. And now someone had found her. Where is she? Waiting room. Emma walked on unsteady legs. Luna guided her down the hallway. She stopped at the door, took a breath, pushed it open. A woman's voice trembling. "Emma, is that really you?" And then arms were around her, someone crying, someone holding her like they would never let go. I looked everywhere. The woman sobbed. After the accident, after you disappeared from foster care, I tried everything. But you were gone, just gone. Emma couldn't speak. I'm your mother's sister's daughter. Grace. We met once when you were little. You probably don't remember, but I never forgot you. Emma found her voice. Why did you look? Because you're family. Grace pulled back, held Emma's face in her hands. And family doesn't give up, no matter how long it takes. Emma collapsed into her arms again. All those years of thinking she was alone. All those years of believing no one cared. And here was proof that someone had been searching the whole time. Ghost watched from the doorway. He didn't interrupt. He just smiled. Because Emma had built one family, and now she had found another. Some stories have endings, but Emma's story was still being written. She expanded the community center, hired more staff, reached more families. She reconnected with Grace, learned about the family she'd never known, built bridges across 15 years of silence. She stayed with the Iron Brotherhood, her first family, her chosen family. And every Tuesday at 11 a.m., she returned to her old corner outside Rosa's cafe, not to beg, not to be invisible, but to remember. She would sit there for 30 minutes, Luna beside her, listening to the traffic, the footsteps, the world rushing past. And sometimes she would see someone who reminded her of herself, a homeless person on the corner, invisible, forgotten. And she would stop. She would ask their name. She would see them. Because that's what family did. That's what courage looked like. That's how you changed the world. One person at a time. One moment at a time. 4 words at a time. On the 2nd anniversary of those 4 words, Emma stood on her corner one last time. Ghost was beside her. Rosa, Jimmy, Diego, the whole crew. Grace had come too, and her husband, and their children. 2 families, merged into one. Emma held the worn quarter in her hand, the same one she'd given Ghost. He'd given it back that morning. Keep it, he said. It belongs to you. Now she held it tight. She thought about everything that had brought her here. The pain, the loss, the fear, the courage, the kindness, the love. Thank you, she whispered. She wasn't talking to anyone specific. She was talking to everyone. To her parents for teaching her to be brave, to Ghost for stopping when no one else did, to the Iron Brotherhood for giving her a home, to Grace for never giving up, to everyone who had ever felt invisible and found the strength to speak anyway. She put the quarter back in her pocket. She turned to Ghost. Ready, ready. They walked away from the corner together. 12 motorcycles roared to life. And Emma Collins, the blind girl who had saved them all, rode into the future she had built with her own hands. She had started with nothing. Now she had everything. Because she had learned the most important lesson of all. You are not invisible. You matter. And one moment of courage can change the entire world. Emma Collins was proof of that. And her story would inspire thousands more to find their own 4 words, their own moment of courage, their own way home. The end. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel. Share it with someone who needs to hear that they matter. Comment your city below so we can see how far Emma's message has traveled. And remember, you are seen. You are valued. You are never alone.